Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 11. So we're going to be working on page 10, even though this is page 9, in our Once Upon a Time mini album series. Now, the reason we're still looking at page 9 is because when we left off, I was trying to decide what paper to put here, and I had that paper that had no glitter or anything on it. Then I came across this scrap that had the prince's crown on here, and this page is talking about him traveling underneath. And so I found that, and it was perfect. It was just one crown fit right on there and the gold braid. So that's what I used to cover this flap. So if you remember, this one opens this way, this one opens this way. I still need to put the brown paper on, and then there's a pocket right here. Now I decided to go ahead and make this picture into a card like I had told you, but taking into account for where the edges are glued and the height by the time we get it put in the pocket. This ended up being a 7x7 card. And then I'm going to make one size smaller. This is not one size smaller yet. Actually it is. Because the picture is going to go inside that. And then we're going to put that behind this, like that. And it's going to be a picture of the fairies or the mermaids. It doesn't really matter which. And then anyway, we're going to work it out to 3 flaps and either 2 or 3 photo mats. Okay, on the back of this will be photo paper for photo. This one already has it. Okay, so I left this sticking in here as a reminder to do it, and then I have to do these 2 still, and I forgot about these, or I would have had them done for this video. So that's where we left off last time, was making the decision on this centerpiece, and I have made a decision on the centerpiece. Okay. Oh, by the way, I happen to be making this video on a Wednesday, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Wednesday mornings, members of Sweet Pea Papers, we all craft together and chat and whatever. There's no tutorials, no classes, no anything. We all just work on what we want to work on. And we usually run from 7 to 9 Pacific time in the morning. So that's 10 to 12 on the East Coast, and various other times in between. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm sure you guys know where you live. But anyway, and I would like to invite you to come. Everybody's welcome. As many people can join as we can jam onto the computer screen and more. And so we all have fun, and I'd like to invite you to come. Okay, now on to page 10, which is our final page. What we're going to have is we're going to have the prince, the princess, happily ever after. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the princess flap about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, and it's 5 inches wide. The prince flap about 3/4 of an inch down from the top, and it's 5 inches wide, top to bottom, 5 inches tall, I guess is what I should be saying. All right, and then we're going to have a center flap that's going to come down in the middle and hold everybody together. Now, I'm pretty sure we're not going to need anything for these flaps. We'll have to evaluate once we glue them on to see if we need magnets to hold them down. I'm hoping we don't, because that's a lot of layers of paper to go through, and we would have to put them in the corners. So I'm not saying that would be a bad thing. I'm just saying it would be a little bit of an awkward thing when you go to open it. I'm going to move my T because it's a little distracting from my little 3/4 of an inch mark. Okay. Make sure that you remember that your top is your closed part, and double check against the page on the other side. so you don't put one right side up and one upside down. So let's go ahead, and I see I put a circle for a magnet here because we definitely need a magnet on this one. And I put circles for magnets on here because I originally was going to put a magnet on each one, but I'm going to wait and see if we need them. Okay, so I've marked the center on here lightly with my chalk pencil, and I marked the center on here. And so hopefully we can just line it up and it will glue right on. And I've trimmed the corners when I cut the flaps. I'm going to double check that because you know what? This black paper, I'm telling you, that side is a smidge shorter. No, it's not, I guess. Optical illusion. Sometimes optical illusions, though, are not. You just think they are. So sometimes it never hurts to take an extra second and measure again. You're on page 10, for cripe's sakes, right? So we're just going to put this here and line it up with the edge of the paper. Look at the bottom and make sure it's straight. And this flap is 8 inches long. If I'd have made it a smidge longer, it might have covered up that glue. I'm really upset over that. I think it takes away from the whole thing. One minor imperfection. I know that means it's handmade, but still. A dry wet wipe. It's going to be covered with paper, but just to make sure. You'll notice these little angles. That's probably what the optical illusion was. These little angles are different because I originally had it 8 inches wide. And then I cut it down to 4 and retrimmed the corner. Okay, so now we're going to put this flap on, the left flap. And we're going to put it down about 3/4 of an inch, so I made a little mark. I did. I made a little mark. Not a big mark, just a little mark. You can see I was working things out. So since this is 8 inches wide, of course, we cut it at 8.5 and then scored it on the 1/2 to get our hinge here that we're putting the glue on. And we'll glue it right up to the edge, right at the line. Get my hand on there in a funny way. Okay, let's make sure we can get it straight here. Make sure it's straight across over here. Okay, and double check underneath that we haven't glued it shut from excess glue running out. Okay. Once again, remember, we should be working on a paper and not our base page. It's being made difficult by the items that are underneath, you know, to make things flat. Plus, like this, a mistake I could have fixed without messing up the other side. And if you're working on the base, you've got what you got. So, you just want to make sure that that you do it the other way. And I've discussed it a couple times through this series, but I just thought I would remind you guys. And I've showed too, but I just don't remember what video it was. Several back, maybe 6 video 6 maybe. I was talking to my friend that got me kind of started on these. And they're really fun. They're fun like a puzzle. You guys know how much I love a good puzzle. All you got to do is look at my envelope stacks, right? Okay, make sure this doesn't impede this. Make sure that can still close. Line this up along the edge. Anyway, she was the one that reminded me that I was doing it wrong. Apparently, see now here, if we hadn't opened that up right away, we might have had a problem because it would have glued the flap shut. I think we may have to put magnets on them. I don't know, once we have this magnet on here holding them down, I think that looks nice. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's all black. You see how the flaps look? I think it looks nice. Okay. So now, all we need to do are the papers. So, let's leave this one up. Oh no, we need to do the magnet. That's what we need to do. Do I want a magnet here, at least? I almost think I do. I almost think I want a magnet right there to hold it down, so that when you lift this up, they don't come flying up. Let me get my glue eraser here. It's kind of lumpy. She says as she's getting ready to put a magnet on there, which is only 1 millimeter thick, but still. It's thicker than this glue that I'm erasing. Even though this is all marked up because of a mistake. I'm not going to say that again. I didn't make a mistake. I had a happy accident. That's what I did. Happy accident. That sounds like something that you would have when you don't get to the restroom in time. I had an accident. Maybe not happy, but I had an accident. We'll pretend like I didn't just say that. Okay, so let's think about this. If we put a magnet here, I think it'll work. I think it'll work. I think we should put one right here on the left one. Just, I don't know, it doesn't really look like it's going to pop up though, does it? Let's use our bone folder on it. On the right one. Then on the left one. I just kind of like the way it feels when they're down flat with the magnet. You know, I kind of want to put a magnet here and a magnet there to hold them flat. All right, well, let's deal with the one we know for sure we're going to put a magnet on, which is this one. Now, we need to make it down far enough that it holds it, but not far enough up that this flap gets in the way. So this is going to be very, very close. And in fact, that's too far up. So it looks like, well, let me think about this. We'll put the magnet under this right flap. We will put it to where we can paper this. So now the object is not to catch the lip. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter, does it? If it's going to be under it, it's going to be under it. We don't want it too far up. Okay, let's put the magnet on. We might be using several magnets on this. Well, you're always going to need at least two. Just one magnet's not going to do you any good. Okay, we got our piece of tape. Okay, got our piece of tape. This one's going to be interesting. It's such a long, long way. Okay. Get another piece of tape. Put it sticky side up. Put the magnet down to where it sticks to itself. Oh, it's not going to make any difference. And then we're going to put it down here. It is. It's right through the edge. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about holding the right one down with a magnet now, do we? I'm kidding. It makes the same difference. Okay. So now let's see what happens. Close this. We close that. Remember there's... Yeah, see, I don't like that poofiness. I really, really don't. So let's come in a little farther from the edge. So we're going to end up using 6 magnets on this page. Or maybe just holding the left one down will fix the whole problem. I know you're looking at my chicken arms, but I keep the tape dispenser up there, up underneath my... I use one of those kitchen little wire, like thing that you put your cans on, so you can double the height in your cabinet to put your veggies on and such. And so I have my scissors and my pencil and stuff underneath it. It gives me more room because then I can put stuff on top as well. So now we'll test it and see. What that makes it look like. See, I still don't like that. Yeah, see, that holds that. But it's still poofy because of the right one. Alright, let's go to town. If we're going to do it, let's do it. I say do it. I'd rather have a magnet there and not need it than not have a magnet there and need it. That's my personal choice. For those of you who may have wandered in, on part 10 I used tape instead of glue. It's much easier. Some people use two-sided tape. I happen to like Scotch tape. Not necessarily the brand, you know. I mean, that happens to be the brand I like, and it's the brand I get. But feel free to choose your brand of Scotch tape. put it this way because it migrated a little bit on the tape, and I don't want the tape sticking out farther on that end. Okay, now we're going to close this one up. Are we too close to the edge there? That is a little close to that edge, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not really any closer than the other one. Okay. All right. Much better. Ta-da! Much better. Okay, so we've reached the point of our program where we take a quick break so that I can start a new video, and then we'll start talking about the papers, and the papers may take 2 segments as well, so you'll get the exciting fun of having 3 segments. So hold on and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So now we've built the page, and what we're going to do now is we're going to cover the page. I don't know why I'm nervous about doing this, but I am. So here's the plan. Let me show you page 1 where it says Once Upon a Time. When you open it up, there's this paper on either side. So what we're going to do is I was going to put this on here. I really do want something glittery, but then I was going to put the same paper on either side back here so it matched. But if I do that, then I'm not going to have enough, I don't think, to cover that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these 2 first with this paper, and then we will see how much I have left. I'm sure it's not going to be enough because it's only going to be 2 inches, because 5 by 8, it's going to be 5 by 8, and then 5 by 8, and then that's only going to give us a 2-inch wide strip. And this is how wide? 4 inches wide, so we're going to need like 3 7/8. So what we can do is we could put strips of something else on either side. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do the front flap last. Now the inside, we're going to put, anyway, let's move this back and then turn it over. Alright, so in the back we're going to have these 2 on the sides. Let's do it this way. This side we're going to have the prints. We're going to have to cut him down quite a bit to get him to fit, but I think as long as we get the prints himself in there, however much of the horse we get, that's a bonus. Okay, and then on this flap here is the princess flap. And so we're going to do the glittery part, the princess hair, and we're just going to get as much of her hair on there as we can, which should be pretty good. And hopefully Oz isn't going to start barking. We have a heat warning for today, so I had the sliding door open and the fan blowing. I hope it's not too loud in the background. And so yeah, that's that. And then we're going to use the Happily Ever After, which is going to be close on the middle on the inside, and then up here on the top on the inside we are going to put the castle. Now if you can see that, I didn't think that this was wide enough to cover the castle, but we can get a bunch of it in here on the inside. Okay, so this is going to be more of a fancy final page than a page that you put photos on, unless you put one up here above the Happily Ever After. like I said, the happily ever after is going to be very, very close to getting it in, you know, with the full words down here. So, reminder to self, the next time you, let me move this up. I am so sorry, I forgot to move you up. So, reminder to self, next time do 8.5 by 8.5. Okay, I already have another 8 by 8 that I did following a tutorial called Mariposa, and I'll have a flip through of that, and that is all. But hopefully you'll take a look at that too. Okay, so enough of this. Let's go with the prints page first. Okay, now what we're going to have to do is we need to kind of try to eyeball this to get the prints in. Now here's the top of his head. I think we can go up just a smidge. And you know what? I'm going to cut it big and then cut it the width, and then we'll trim it down and see how much of him we can get in. We're at least going to get, you know, the top of him. The bottom will be the sacrifice if it has to be. So let's get let's cut the circle out. We'll go across because the circle is definitely wide enough, you know, once we cut across. So we'll have extra big, but we'll be able to line the prints up better. So let's cut that. This is our last prints page. So hopefully I won't have to buy a whole nother pad just to do the prints. Let's do this. This is called a T-square. If you've never used one, you use it by hooking it on the edge. It's got a little lip on the back side, and you hook it along the edge, and that way you know you've got a perfectly straight line. So then you line your paper up along the edge. You want to make sure it's right up against the edge and that it's straight. And then we want, let's see, let's zero this out, and we know that this is 8 inches wide, so let's zero this out in the center. So that's the center, and then we're going to go out 4, and we're going to go out 4, and then we can trim it down a little bit. So let's do that, and let's do it at the top, so we know where we're going to cut. So that's 0, so this is 4 here, and 4 here, right in the glitter, of course. Trying to make a big fat dark enough line. Okay, so let's do that. This looks way farther over than this. No, I guess not. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I had to think in my head and make sure I'm doing this right. And you definitely need to make sure that the blade is back out of the way, because you can't move this paper because of the glitter. In fact, I know that the mark is right at 8, so I'm going to do it right outside that mark. I'm going to do a really dark mark there. You know what we can do? We can double check. We only want the width. So there's that. And yes, I did cut it wide, but that's okay. But here's that. Well, I'm not going to say the bad word. I was just thinking. Okay. So I'm going to cut it just on the outside of that line. We can always just trim a 1/16 off. I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. Okay, that's my mark. It's just a hair past it. Might be easier to do it this way. This way it's closer to me. I'm going to get you guys closer to me. Get you very cozy. Okay. Well, I think we did it pretty close to correctly. Okay, so now the width should be correct. All right, now we need the height. Okay, so the height starts here. I'm going to make a little white mark on the edge of the flap. Yes, white pocket, or the flap starts there and the flap ends there, because I can always erase it. Alright, let's see how much of the prints we can get. We definitely want, let's eyeball him. Probably not a good idea, but the main thing we want is to be sure and get his head. It looks like we might be able to get his horse as well. Just a little bit inside. Okay. I can't believe it's going to be 100 degrees 3 days in a row, and it might even get hotter than that. And if it does, it will be the hottest day ever. I mean ever. ever as in ever. Here in Seattle. So there you go. And it's only June. And none of us have air conditioning here. Because we don't normally get this kind of heat. Yeah, this isn't going to quite be even on this circle. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to see the bottom of the circle, but the top part is cut off. So I should have, well, I definitely want to get the prints, and that's why it turned out that way. We're going to just get the top of his, head. Okay. Hopefully that's our page. Off on an Adventure is almost completely there. Okay, let's put that over there. Let's check this out. Wow, it's really tall. How did we manage that? Okay, so it's right here. That's why I thought that we were having way too much of that bottom circle. And then the bottom is right here. Okay. Yeah, that looks about right. Well, at least we had more instead of less. And go right down the center of my line this time. Now we're going to have the horse, except for that one part of his foot. So, and look at all the glittery leftovers we have. This is going to be a heck of a collage when I get done, isn't it? Okay. So now we've got him right here. Oh my gosh. Look at that, you guys. Okay, alright. Alright, let's glue it down before it changes its mind about fitting. Okay, let's mark this the top. Just in case, you know. So I think I'm going to go into hibernation. My bedroom's underground. You know what I mean? My window's level with the ground. And so usually if I close the door and have no lights on, then it stays about 15 degrees cooler than it is outside, at least on the first 2 days, until the whole apartment starts heating up. Okay, there's our prints. I think this one and the Happily Ever After were going to be the hardest. Okay, now we're going to do our princess. And we're just going to go from the corners and just get as much of her hair as we can. Once we get it all measured out, we'll probably flip it over so that her hair comes in from up here. But I want to work from the corner. Once again, I'm going to mark the edge because it's the black on black. It's really hard to see. Okay. I guess I could put a piece of white paper underneath, couldn't I? I wonder if that would work. Well, that's helpful. Look at that. Okay, let's get her lined up. Okay, so we want to cut her here. And we want to cut her right here. Pretty sure I can see that line. We'll erase our white marks. We'll go back and check to make sure that we can't see that on the prints page. Now, we want to do the cross cut first. That'll give us the best leftover. Let's go right down the middle. Look at that. And we want to do here. Okay, let's flip her around. Mark this the top. Let's see how we did. Well, I'm extremely happy with the princess as well. Okay, so let's glue this down before it decides to change into something else completely. You know, like they do in fairy tales. She could fall asleep and turn into something else, or I don't know. Maybe the evil fairy godmother will do something to the princess, or the evil stepmother, not the fairy godmother, but the stepmother. Okay, we'll center this here and here on this corner. Make sure it's straight and drop it down. Okay, now it looks like, oh yeah, it moved. So let's get it straight. Sorry, I'm just lining it up so you didn't miss anything important. Okay, so there's our princess page. So there's our prince and our princess find each other. Now we're going to do happily ever after. You know, We could do this on the underside of that. Well, I guess now we know what direction this goes, since the words are right side up here. But I'm just wondering, what do you think? Should we put the castle? I think we should put the castle. Okay, so I'm gonna put us on pause again because that's our 30 minutes, well, close to it, 25, and then we can start over in just a second. Okay, we're back again. You know what I've decided to do? You know, these magnets are really close, but there's nothing I can do about it now. So, I mean, to the edge of where we're going to be gluing our happily ever after. We're going to have to be very, very careful. I've decided that we're going to go ahead and do these two on the inside first. And I'm going to do this one from the top and this one from the bottom. And then that way we'll have this decoration on the bottom on this side, and we'll have the decoration, same decoration on the top on this side. So let's close this so we've got enough room to move around. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's start from the top corner. Let's get our pencil. Our poor pencil whose eraser is disturbingly, or is disappearing disturbingly quickly. You know, you can't buy erasers for this pencil. You have to buy a whole new pencil if you want a set of 4 erasers to come with it. I think that is wrong. Okay, we want it just on this gold part. Let's make a mark, pretty dark mark, and then that will be the edge. Oh, let's do it this way. We want to cut across first. So we've got our mark. Let's get everything lined up again. We may have to readjust our mark. Nope, the dog's back. I turned the fan down a notch too. Seemed a little loud when I looked at the recording level, the audio level. It seemed like it was a little loud for background noise. So I turned it down, so I hope that's better. Well, why do I keep making the mark in the same spot? It's like the pencil wants to go there. Alright, so let's make our cross cut first. Otherwise we're going to cut off, otherwise we're going to cut straight through this part and we won't be able to use it. So let's do our cross mark. Let's get that lined up. My dog is right around my legs and his nose is right on my ankle. Now let's do the width, which was right in here somewhere. Okay. Let's do right in the middle of that mark. It's kind of a fat mark. Okay. Get another nice scrap. Let's see how we did. Okay. Alright, we're looking good on this. Mark this the top. Okay, I'm going to get some glue out before it decides to mysteriously change as well. I think he's down there licking the floor. He eats little pieces of paper I don't know why. I keep telling him he's making his own toilet paper. Because the paper goes right through, obviously. So that's not a bad joke. That's kind of a disgusting joke. But it's true. It's actually true. So I don't know if it's a joke or not. It's a joke when I say it, I guess, to him. It's supposed to be funny. But guess what? My dog has no sense of humor. None. No sense of humor at all. So let's glue this on. Lined up. And drop it down. Okay. I think I like it out just a little bit. Get it up just a little bit. Down just a little bit. Looks like we have a mark we need to erase. Okay. And we can erase these just in case. Those were the height of our pocket. I don't think we'll need the center mark either, so let's get rid of that. We can remark this top just in case, you never know. Okay, so we've got that one on. Kind of like to move it just a little bit this way if I can. Nope, it's done. I talked so much that it's done. Okay, let's do the same on this side. Only we're going to do it from the bottom. This time we'll make the vertical cut first, because that will give us this square. Okay, so we want to cut it. Whoops. We want to cut it here. No, we don't. We want to cut it here. And then, darn, that was a little crooked. Oh, it was just a piece of schmutz. Okay, let's erase this mark just to make sure we're straight. Okay, let's double check on this one. I told you. I knew the wicked stepmother would come in somewhere. Okay. So that my mark was still good. Let's make our top mark. Okay. You know, actually, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's put our pencil away. Should have put the top on the glue. I'm going to turn around and take it right back off now, but doesn't matter now, does it? Okay, now we're going to cut this for the length. And it'll give us this nice piece. I'm going to cut this for the height. Get it right in the middle of the line. So I drew a little bit thicker line. Mark this top. Let's see how we did. Okay, that one looks good. Let's glue this. I'm having a very calm voice. You know, I feel like that, what's his name that does the paintings? You know, the happy, the happy paintings. What's his name? Bob something? You know, he's passed on, but his son or sons have carried on doing those videos. The happy little painting, the 30-minute Bob, whatever his name was. If you know what his name was, put it in the comments below, because it's going to drive me crazy now until I think of it, which I'll either think of it as soon as we're done with this video, or I will have to look it up. I don't know how I'd look it up, but I'll have to look it up. My stomach is growling. As usual, as soon as I start recording, my stomach starts growling. So that one looks pretty good. Let's move it out just a skosh for the closeness here. So now these should be facing the same way. They are. We've got our decoration on the top and on the bottom. So there you go. All right, so now let's go for the happily ever after. You know I wanted to do this last, right? I mean, you know that. All right. So we're going to have to cut a little bit off each end. So to line this up, I'm going to line up the A to the very edge first. I bet we lose a little bit of that Y. I think I can move that over just a smidge. What do you guys think? Have our happy little happily ever after. I don't know. I think I'm going to go back to my first plan. This kind of sticks out a little farther than this. I was looking at the wrong thing, I think. You know what I could do? Could take this ruler, or the T-square, and make a light mark that way. So I know where the edge of this is. I want it over just a little bit. And we'll mark that right there. Then we will mark our height, which is going to be just a smidge less than 8, which this should be. Oh, wait a minute. No, we'll go ahead and cut it, and then we'll pull this back and trim it. Okay? That's how we're going to do it. Because we definitely want to get the happily ever after in. If we have to come really super close and maybe get a titch of that little top bar of that Y, I think we'll be fine. So we've got this here. Well, actually, we can do the width. And then we've got this here. And then we'll do the height. Because I really want to cut the height off first. I almost did it there. So I want to save some of this. I had thought about putting it on the back side here. So let's do the height first. Okay. And I just said, let's do the height first. Okay, get her lined up. Because you see, I think this would fit right on here. Sure it would. And then it would go with the sky. A quandary. Alright, let's cut this first. And then we'll remeasure just to make sure. Just outside the A. Let's double check our measurement. Could make that a smidge taller. However, the width works out fine. We could even do it that way. The prints. Anyway, let's get this done. Wow, that cut off more than the Y of the Y than I wanted to. Wished I could have gone over just a little bit more. Just enough so you could see the little corner of the Y. But I think it was not meant to be. So let's definitely mark this as the top. Yeah, it is just a smidge narrow. No, it's okay. It's all right. It's a little short. I'd like not to see where this is glued on. You know, actually, I don't think there's any way around it. So we'll make it even. Even Steven. All the way around. Happily ever after. I don't know why I did that. Get a drink of coffee now that I see it, it's sitting right there. Okay, look at that. All right, let's glue. It's a big one. Now I don't have to put this all the way to the edge because when I smudge it down, the glue spreads out. I do it very close to the edge. I do it. Uh-oh. Alright, that's a bad joke. definitely. Definitely, I would have to say, if I were saying. I'm just saying. Look at that. We got the mountains and the sunset, and happily ever after. So now, all we have left is that top flap back and front. We've got 10 minutes left to do it, so I'm not sure that we're going to get it all in. We ended up not using this castle at all. I'm still wondering if we should put the castle right there. I think it's going to clash with this. I think we'll go back to this piece and turn it around this way. Whoops, we'll turn it around. How did that get backwards? Do you remember it was on the opposite side? Oh, I'm going to put you on hold. All the dogs are barking. Okay, took care of the dog situation. But this way we could get this up here, and then the sunset would continue. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll just make this more of a finale page than a photo page. Okay, pencil, where'd you go? Oh, you're in the spot where you're supposed to be. Silly me. Silly, silly me. Okay, we'll cut that there. Let's do the one across the bottom first. Actually do this to get him out of the way. Left the top off my glue again, folks. Someone is going down the stairs, and it sounded like they were going do 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 do. It's just that way they were going down the stairs. I want you to look here and look at all the nice glitter scraps I have left over. You're not going to believe the amount of scraps I have left over. We'll do this one. I almost don't want to do a collage, but I have quite a few smaller pieces. And I always do a collage at the end of a project. And then I put it on my wall. And then I can remember all my projects just by looking at my wall. So, yeah, I do that. This is the top. We ended up not getting any of that, this piece like this color. But that's okay, because look, it looks like the sunset keeps going. I like it. Let's double check our size. All right, that looks good. And then all we have left to do is the front of this. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on it. What do you guys think? That's what I'll do, because we're going to run out of time. So instead of starting it again for just 5 minutes, I won't do the top front until you leave your comments. How about that? Or I'll take them into account. And then you guys can leave comments and let me know what you think. Should I do it that glitter paper like this, if I have enough? Or should I do something else? I'm leaning towards the glitter paper, just so you guys know. Okay. I'm feeling I'm feeling very talented at this at this moment. Okay, so you have the black line that we don't know yet. Let me look at the... Yeah, we don't have a long enough piece. All we have is this in the middle, and I don't like the non-glittery on the front. Well, we could do this. And this matches the glitter ones on the inside. I don't know. I can't decide. So let's not decide right now. Okay, so we've got our top flip. You flip that open and you've got your sunset. Then you've got the prince who found the princess and they lived happily ever after. Yay! Okay, that's our page 10. So I'm going to decide what to put on there. And of course I'll show you in the next video. And the next video is where we do the inner spine that has the spines that these pages fit on. This part slides right down. Now you can make writing cards for the insides of each of these, but I think I'm just going to glue them together once we've got them in the book, you know, in the book cover. So we'll do the inner spine, then we're going to do the cover, then we're going to put the pages in, and then we're going to decorate the inner and outer covers. Okay, so that's the order that we're going to be going in. And I will see you in the next video, which will be video 12. And that will be, what is it? Can you say it with me? That'll be just a second for you, but a day for me. Bye-bye.